Hi, my name's Jodie and welcome to another video. So today I am going to be bringing you a bit of a weird random video, but it's going to be my lockdown TBR. I mentioned previously either in my November TBR or a vlog that I was going to be having another second TBR this month that was just going to be like a lockdown TBR. So for those of you who don't know, I live in England and at the moment England is in its second lockdown until the 2nd of December. So obviously I'm at home, I have a little bit more time to read for the most part. So I wanted to kind of put together a little secondary TBR of books that I might just want to pick up that maybe like quick reads or like audiobooks and stuff. And some of these books I purchased just before the lockdown with the intention of maybe wanting to read them during the lockdown. So I thought I'd just throw together another TBR and yeah, so I have talked about some of these books already. The haul including some of these books will already be up by the time that this vlog goes up, so I will have that link down below if you want to go and check that out for a more in-depth kind of synopsis for each book. But I'm just going to talk about them very briefly. I'm going to keep this nice and quick. And yeah, another TBR video. So one of these books as well I have already read, so it's going to be the first book that I'm going to talk about. That is Neil Gaiman's Stardust. So I recently finished this book, but I think a lot of you guys will be familiar with this. It is a movie as well. So this is set in the Victorian era and it follows Tristan, I believe, I think his name was. He lives in this village and there is a big like ancient wall that nobody crosses because it goes into like fairyland, I think they call it, which is kind of like another realm almost with like all these kind of different creatures and like animals that can talk and all these different things. So he lives in this human village. He has his sights set on this girl called Victoria and they're out walking one night and he asks for a hand in marriage and she's like, no, like what can you offer me? Like no thank you. And he's like, oh well, what about if I go and collect that fallen star that we just saw crash down from the sky? She's like, okay, go and collect this fallen star and then I'll marry you. You can have anything you want, like I'll do whatever you want. If you want me to marry you, I'll marry you. She's not being serious, she's just joking. And he then goes off on this grand journey. He leaves the human world and he goes on this journey to find this fallen star. But little does he know, his mother isn't who he thinks she is, and there's a lot of things about him that he's yet to discover and a lot of secrets. And then he also meets this fallen star who is in fact a person. And they embark on this journey. They face all these different things together, all these obstacles in order to get back to his human village where he can say, look, I got the fallen star, now marry me. Things don't go quite the way he planned. And yeah, it's just a really fun book. I really like this. I listened to it on audio and Neil Gaiman narrated this, so I really like that. This was on my lockdown TBR, so I'm really glad that I finished it. But it's just a really fun book. So next up we have another book by Neil Gaiman, and this is also featured in my haul. So this is Neverwhere. So I spoke about this in that haul, but basically this follows a character, I can't remember his name. He's called Richard and he performs this act of kindness by helping this girl. He finds her, he's like fallen over in the street and she's got like blood all over her or something. He decides to help her and she's actually being pursued by assassins. And she's from this like underground like London that's filled with like monsters and all these different things, and he's then thrust into this world of like monsters and demons and angels and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. I'm just really enjoying Neil Gaiman's books at the moment. I love the audiobooks. I've been listening to a lot of his books on audio because he does self-narrate and his narrations are just amazing. Like I could listen to him all day. So I really would like to get to this one during the lockdown, pick it up on audio if I do. But I just think it'd be like a really fun like quick read again. So yeah, that's why that one's on my TBR as well. Next we have Howl's Moving Castle, and this is by Diana Wynne Jones. So I recently watched the movie for this and I loved it. I'm obsessed with it. And I really have been meaning to read this for a while. I never realised it was a middle grade. I always thought it was based off a manga for some reason. So when I realised that it was based off a book and I was planning to watch the movie, I picked it up just before lockdown and I just now more than ever want to read this book. I think I might listen to it on audio, I'm not sure just yet, but I can't wait to get to this one. And it would be fun to read this during lockdown because like I said, I've recently watched the movie and I just think this will be like a really fun quick read. And yeah, that's why it's on my TBR. Next is another book that's mentioned in my haul. Pretty much all of these are, but I bought them pre-lockdown with the intention of reading them during lockdown. And that's The Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton. So this is like a nice little witchy book, and this follows a girl called Noor, and she kind of has like a really cursed life. She just wants to be a normal teenager, and then she finds like this book, and it says that it can cast a spell for like the right price, so she's figuring that she can like use this book to like have a normal life. But then she finds out it's written by her mother, and like the magic required is very dark to be able to like create this book. So she then needs to figure out, well, what's the price her mother's paid, does it involve her, and all this kind of stuff. So this is a dark fantasy as well, which I just think will be really, really fun to read right now. And I just think it's just going to be like a quick read and very like atmospheric, and I love those kind of books right now. I'm still on a bit of a Halloweeny hype, so I feel like this would be a nice book to read transitioning from autumn to winter. So yeah, I plan to read this during the remainder of lockdown. Then next is a really random one, but I haven't read any like contemporary romance for quite a while now, and a lot of people absolutely love this book, and I just kind of feel like it'd be one to get like absolutely lost in. So that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So yeah, a lot of you are probably already familiar with it, but this is kind of like a hate to love romance, and it follows Lucy and Joshua work in the same office, but Joshua's like the only person who doesn't really like her, and obviously this like really irritates her, like why this guy just doesn't like her but everyone else does. And then they end up in this like rivalry of like trying to outdo each other in the office and stuff, and then like this promotion comes up for grabs, and obviously both of them are like pushing for it, so they're like really competitive with one another, but obviously got a bit more to it. So I think this is like a hate to love kind of romance, and I just like this like office setting. I've never read a romance set in an office before, so I just feel like this will be really fun to read. So I'm adding it to my TBR. I might pick this up, or maybe another romance book, I'm not sure. I have quite a lot on my shelf that I really need to get through, but I just thought I'd add this on because I've seen a lot of good reviews for it recently, and I would like to kind of read a romance or contemporary just because I haven't for such a long time. So next we have another middle grade, and this is one I've been meaning to read for the longest time and I really want to get to. I did download the audiobook for this actually, so I might well start the audio soon, but that is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. So I recommend this a lot in work for young readers who love Harry Potter but are looking for something else, because this has always been pitched to me as being a kind of Harry Potter inspired tale but with a female protagonist, which I really love the sound of. And this is just like a really magical, like adventurous kind of fun book, and I really do want to get to it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already familiar with it, but it's kind of like a Harry Potter-esque kind of vibe to it. So she's whisked away by a remarkable man called to North and taken to a secret city of Nevermore, and then she's got to try and join this wondrous society, which is like a magical like world kind of thing, and she has to pass like a bunch of trials to get in. Yeah, it just sounds really fun. I really want to read this. I've seen a lot of booktubers read this book and love it, and I have all three now, so I would like to just like fly through this series. So I'm adding it to my TBR for lockdown because I'm hoping to get to it at some point during the lockdown, and it just seems like it'll be really fun. Also, look how gorgeous these books are under the dust jacket. Like all three are like that, and they're just stunning. I'm obsessed with how they look. Yeah, I'm very excited to finally get to this book soon. Next we have that's four. I always do that. So next we have two mangas and a graphic novel. So the first manga is Orange. So I've been meaning to read this for so long. When I was first getting into manga, this was the one that most people recommended to me. It's the one that has so many good reviews and like everybody loves, and I love the sound of it. I think it sounds amazing. It follows Naho, I think is how you say it, or Nahao. She's in 11th grade, and then one day she receives a letter from her future self. It's basically like saying like to look out for this new kid, I think. So it says like a new guy joins her class who transfers from another school, and her future self is asking her to look out for him and like try to save him from this terrible future. And that's pretty much like all I know about it. I just think it sounds so fun, and I can't wait to get to this. It's set in a school, and it just looks like a really like heartwarming kind of tale. So I'm very excited to read this, and I really do hope I can get to it during this lockdown. I think I might be able to read this in like a day as well. I mean, it does look big, but I mean, yeah, mangas are quite, for me, easy to read, so I think I will probably be picking this one up very soon because I'm in the mood for it. Still reading the Vampire Knight manga series, but I just haven't picked that up for a few days yet. I think I'm up to volume 7 now in that series. I think I might take a break from that series and read this manga instead, but I'm very excited for this because it is the first one I ever bought, and I just really want to read it. So the next manga is this one. So this was in one of my book hauls, and this is Venus in the Blind Spot. I forgot the title then. So Venus in the Blind Spot by Junji Ito, or Ito. I can never figure out how to pronounce the name, but I really want to read this because this is actually a horror manga. I've never read any horror manga before. I am a big fan of horror movies. I don't tend to read a lot of horror books. I just prefer to watch them in film format. But I really like the sound of this because I love my graphic novels and manga, and I do like them when they have that kind of dark twist to them. And like I said, I've never read any horror manga before, so I just think that this will be super interesting to read. I already love the look of the art style. It's very dark and it's very like different and a bit weird, which is what I really like. So this is like a collection of like short manga stories by Junji Ito all in one book, so I'm very excited to read this. I don't know how many stories are in here. I don't know how many are in here, but I really do want to get to this soon. I think this will be a nice introduction to Junji Ito's work because it is a collection of stories, so it will give me like a wide range of different kind of vibes, and to see if I really like the art style and the writing and the story itself. So I'm very excited to get to this, and I hope I am pleasantly surprised by this one. So lastly, we have a graphic novel, which is Saga Volume 1. I did actually briefly start this, I think, last month. Like, when I say start, I mean I read like 5 pages. This is one of the most well-loved and talked about graphic novels out there, and it's just one I've never gotten to. It is sci-fi. This is very like sci-fi-esque, and I'm not even going to go into synopsis because I think a lot of you guys are already familiar with it, and I have talked about it before. I really do like the way the art looks, and I'm very intrigued by this little cat. This is a bit like intriguing. But yeah, I am really excited to read this one, so I would like to try and read it during the lockdown. Graphic novels are usually quite quick to get through, and I just feel like it's one that I do really need to read ASAP because I really enjoy graphic novels. I have no excuse for not having read this one already, so I really do want to make a start on this series, and lockdown would be the perfect time to do that. Yeah, that is on my lockdown TBR. So that does conclude everything that is on my lockdown TBR. So yeah, I have a lot of fun books to try and get through. Hopefully I can. I mean, I've already managed to get through one of these, so hopefully I get through some. I'm not expecting to get through all of them. My reading mood changes a lot, and my November TBR was already very big as it was, and I keep getting distracted by other things and other little projects, so I haven't been making like a ton of time to read. But hopefully I can still manage a couple from this TBR and my November TBR. But I'm very excited for all of these. These are all ones that I do want to get to soon, especially the mangas and Nevermore. I'm very excited for those. And Howl's Moving Castle, of course. So yeah, hopefully I do get to those. I think we're about halfway through November, so I still do have a couple of weeks left to try and get through as many of these as I can, and that is my plan. So yeah, hopefully I do. If you have read any of these yourself, then please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Is there anything similar to these you'd recommend? Like, I love getting recommendations from people and finding new things. So yeah, please do let me know in the comments if you have read any of these and stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you were all very safe and well, and that you're having a nice day or evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this. And thank you so much for watching. Please do give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!